The Cincinnati Bengals, 27-24 victors over the Detroit Lions. JR and I gave our takes on this last week, and I just said these are the sorts of games that the Lions should win, especially a home game. The Bengals are good. There's no doubt about it that they're very, very talented. But they just found a way to lose in what we like to call the most Detroit Lions way. Like, I mean, it could be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, not pushing a fellow's butt into the offensive lineman, but like a 25-yard punt from a rookie then sets up the Bengals in like 3 plays, field goal range, game winner. I mean, they're just ways that they lose games that are just lion-like.
You want teams to go for it at the end of a game and try to win, and when that game was tied at 24, but where the Lions had the ball, I don't know why they were throwing. Like, you go to overtime at that point. There was so little time left that to get the 45 yards, I don't know that there was time for them to get that 45 yards. And obviously, if you throw an incomplete pass, then you got a punt, and you could give good field position to the Bengals, who have a chance to win the game.
And then a 25-yard punt,
which is exact, or a punt return. I mean, suppose the guy had returned it well. I mean, there's just so it seemed puzzling to me. Like, I liked going for it, but you got to know, okay, not on your own wherever they were. They were like at the 20 or inside, not at your own 18 with 21 seconds to play. Like, then let's go to overtime. You made a nice comeback.
Yeah, so most coaches, what they do in that situation is to throw a little safe play, like a screen, right? And then if you gain 18 yards on that screen, then you go for it. If you gain 3 yards, then you run the ball and run out the clock.
Yeah, or you just run out the clock. I mean, I mean, but you're right. Like, if it's going to be, but or take a sack. But what you don't do is throw an incomplete pass.
Right, like, and you don't stop the clock.
Like make, and I don't know, and maybe the Bengals would have called a timeout. I don't know whether they had any left. I wasn't paying close attention to what the timeout situation was, but it was poorly managed. There was a time when the people of Steve and I's generation where if this show existed...
Ancient, right?
Nobody... It's just that if the Bengals played the Lions, it was not a game anybody would be talking about the next day. You know?
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
Well, when you have Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson... By the way, Calvin Johnson...
No, those days are gone. They're both pretty good, and they're kind of interesting,
They're actually fun to watch.
They're fun to watch. They are fun to watch. They have maybe the 2 best receivers in football.
AJ Green, who actually looks up to Megatron. Megatron's catch. I mean, that was special. I mean, as you said, it was playground-like. Stafford throws up his finger. Just go over there.
Right as he's about to, in the middle of like serious traffic, he stepped up in the pocket, was running away from guys.
He took a hit too.
Yeah, it was a great play. Stafford is moved into nearly elite status. Like that guy.
Really?
But that's because he has an elite wide receiver. I mean, think of the luxury that you had. Just, hey. And you just throw it in his general direction, triple covered, touchdown.
Calvin Johnson had 9 for 155 and 2 touchdowns.
AJ Green had 155 too. Stafford has a way of like he makes some throws that you think, God, for the love of God, don't make it. What are you doing? Sidearm, back across the middle. But he's got this ability to be accurate from weird angles and at weird times. No question, he benefits from having Johnson, obviously, hugely. I'm still kind of impressed with him. Even so,
I agree.
Yeah. For the second straight week, we had, I think, 2 on Sunday 100-yard rushers. On week 2 of this, I went into my little somewhat facetious monologue of don't run. Yeah. Like, what's the point of running anymore in the NFL when you have these dynamic quarterbacks? But the league has done it.
But you meant it as don't not actually run. Like run 10 times.
Right, run less. Like you just there are moments where you're like you have these dynamic quarterbacks, these incredible receivers, and you're designing plays where your whole upside is 4 yards. Like a win is 4.5 yards. So, but the league has embraced it. This is the second straight week. Ryan Matthews, 2 straight weeks of 100 yards, and Chris Ivory 100 yards. But he did it on 34 carries. He averaged 3 yards a carry. So the Jets are playing old school football, and Ryan Matthews had 110 yards. But that's it. Everybody else, nobody runs for 100 yards. We used to have 10 guys get 100 yards.
So the play that I love to run, if I were a coach, I would love to run, is a wide receiver bubble screen. Because you take a big receiver like Julio Jones, they run that really well, or Pierre Garçon.
Well, he wouldn't run it really well right now, by the way.
So you have 2 receivers out there, or maybe even 3. You throw the ball to one of them, one guy blocks, and all that receiver has to do is slip 1 tackle. You slip 1 tackle, it's a 15-yard gain guaranteed. And if the safety doesn't get over, then it's an 80-yard touchdown. I would run that all day long.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the numbers for receivers. I mean, running backs 110, 104, and then yesterday 2 guys at 155. Eric Decker had 150. Justice Harry Douglas had 149. Vincent Jackson 138. Jordan Reed.
Harry Douglas.
Yeah, sounds like a Supreme Court justice. Jordan Reed at 134. Mike Brown. I don't even think I know who that is.
He's new.
Mike Brown, the Bears safety, right? Mike Brown.
It was against San
Oh
Diego.
no, sorry, the Bengals owner.
He plays
Mike
for
Brown.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mike Brown is a converted quarterback.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's who that is. Right. He had 120 yards receiving. I mean, these guys are, and tonight I suspect, we'll throw in Victor Cruz or Hakeem Nicks. One of them will get 100.
Ruben Randall.
Or Ruben Randall, where they inexplicably throw.
Ruben Randall's awesome.